I would like to thank all of you that are joining us in this conversation. It is something of honor to celebrate one of our own. Today, of course, the person that we are celebrating is Dr. Ikechi for the good work that he is doing in the world and, of course, about us and about agriculture. My name is Obehi Ewanfoh. I am a Nigerian living in Italy. I've been living here for some time now. I've carried out a research about the presence of Africans in northern Italy, which is actually at the centerpiece of what I'm doing today. I'm the author of Storytelling Mastery, where we are trying to let people understand the importance of using storytelling in their business and, of course, in everything that they are doing, because we understand that storytelling is at the center of everything that we do as human beings, particularly within the area of communication. And of course, by storytelling, and that will be slightly different from the cock and bull story that everybody is used to. There is nobody that do not get involved in storytelling, whether it is your evening story, or maybe you want to tell a story to your child, or like in my case, for example, because I grew up in Asa, which is south of Nigeria. I remember, for example, growing up there and going with other children, listening to Eda who tells us story in the evening. So those type of stories are all interesting. They are all part of storytelling. But the type of storytelling that we pay attention to just now, we just finished a room a couple of hours ago where we spent more than 2 hours talking about storytelling, and we're talking about founder story, why businesses should leverage their founder story to be able to connect with other people. So we continuously do this to encourage people to leverage the power of storytelling. Then, of course, we have also a section of it where we are looking at us as a people and how we can use storytelling. But by that, I actually mean the African diaspora. Use storytelling as a way to build our community and to work among ourselves and to build our connection among ourselves and to be able to work with each other essentially, because by the time we tell story, we connect to people at an emotional level. So this is what we do. And then, of course, we help businesses who want to maybe create content, maybe who do not have a website, how to set up their website, how to essentially tell their story. That is our business. Now, of course, today we are talking about Ikechi, Dr. Ikechi, and what he's doing. This is also, as from our point of view, storytelling, because we are talking about his story today. Because 10 years ago, Dr. Ikechi defended his PhD, and up until this time, he had been really working. If you go to our website, you see a couple of articles that we have written about him. And if you go to our YouTube channel, where this video is also going to end, you will see a lot of interview of Dr. Ikechi there, which means that we really have been following him in what he's doing. We believe so much in what we're doing, and we are very proud of him. So when he told me that this year is his 10 years anniversary of defending his PhD, I said, wow, let's organize an event. Let's talk about you. Let's celebrate you, because we love to celebrate the good thing that the people that individually in our community are doing to promote either our value, to help people that are in need, or to in whichever way the people are adding value to the community. So that is why we decided to set up this event today. And of course, Dr. Ikechi, I believe that is available, or maybe he will join us soon. He will have the time, of course, to be able to talk for himself and explain why he decided to become a pioneer in his brain reengineering, why he is actually doing what he's doing. And this is the founder story at the end of the day, because he talks for himself why he's doing this and where he's coming from. That is his own to say. I'm not going to talk for him. What I just need to do now is to just explain to you what is the rules of engagement. Because different people are connected here, it will be a good idea that when you are not talking, I can see all of us are already doing that in the exception of very few, that when you are not talking, you please mute your mic so that your sound is not interfering with other people. So when you are talking, then of course we can hear you talk now. And usually when we do our webinar, we usually do our webinar once in a month. We have another one coming by the end of this month. We usually have a Q&A session after the lecture has been given. But because of the volume of people that are speaking today, I doubt that we might have a Q&A session. But in case there is a time for that, we might do it. But if not, it's okay. We are here to celebrate Dr. Ikechi. So every speaker is going to be given 5 minutes. And the reason is that we have up to 20 people that are going to be talking. For this reason, nobody is going to hold the mic for an extensive, long period of time. Because if you do that, other people will not be able to talk. And that is not going to be a good thing. If every person have spoken, that is a small time remaining, because we are closing here at exactly 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, this room is going to end. So if that is somebody, if every person has spoken, because maybe some people didn't manage to come, and so for that reason, there is some time left, then we can maybe do a little Q&A session. In case that is not possible, we will just move on. All right, because Dr. Ikechi has arrived now, he's a celebrant, so everybody is happy. He have about 10 minutes to be able to explain to us what are we even celebrating today? Why did he decide to do what he did? Because it is because he did what he did that we are celebrating him today as a community, as a people, as friends who see value in what he's doing.
Thank you very much. I was actually listening to you. I've been around, but in fact, I joined with 2 devices. Okay, yeah, this is a Thanksgiving webinar chronicling these 10 solid years. I remember Kelechi is here, Dr. Kelechi. I normally talk about him a lot because I was in India. When he sent me a message, I don't know if he still remembers when he sent me that message on Facebook. Uncle Ike, Mommy said your defense is on Friday. And I just arrived India on Monday. And I was, I had my own plan, planned out activities in India. And actually, before I started that trip, I had a ministration in my spirit that I should share my mother's number with the secretary of my department. And I did that. I didn't even argue with that spirit. That's, those days, And I never knew why I was sharing the contact, but I just felt that an emergency may come up. So that emergency was how Kelechi was the one who wrote me on Facebook, because they couldn't get me on my, of course, when you are traveling, sometimes your phone is put off and all of that. So kudos to Facebook. So that was the beginning of my journey. Now it was, it's all about grace, and you can see grace, and also grace is really at work. It has been at work. And these are some of the clips I chose to mix together. And I was actually thinking about the whole experience. And I can say that I am a living affidavit of grace. You can see photo speaks. And I am a testimony. I have seen my biological father. My biological father was even the one who sponsored that trip. And he's no more, but he is still living. I know. Sometimes I see him, but he laid the foundation of, who I am today, and even in many lives. He laid that foundation from even the compound where we come from. So this is an avalanche of grace, cascading grace, and all of that. So you can see some. Okay, sorry. Now, in 2014, when I defended, you can see I found this cover page of my PhD defense. My last copy. I found it online because I don't have a copy here. So I just went online and I just did a screenshot and attached it here. So this was how my face was that time when I finished 10 years ago. And below, I presented part of this work in Malaysia because I got funded to travel to Malaysia. And it was from South African government. It's a long story. And I've also published this work. It's quite interesting how I published that work. So just before I defended, I also traveled to Malaysia, and this was where I was presenting part of this work, which The enemy, we all have enemies, but can I tell us that our enemies are, the enemies that we know about, we don't really see them with our eyes. Sometimes they manifest, but you don't know them, but you can handle them when you kneel down and, telephone heaven. So I will still call up Reverend Eliakim because he's supposed to have opened up this ceremony, but I just wanted to do this as an opening. This is just the tip of an iceberg of what, about me these 10 years. I have published a lot. This is part of what I've published. I did a comparative analysis between Nigeria and Malaysia's agriculture sector. And I did that with one of my mentees, Dr. Binebi. He's in Port Harcourt right now. And we have also done some publications with Dr. Yoliam in Benue State, Nigeria. Benue is the food basket of the nation, is the north-central region of Nigeria, north-central geopolitical zone. Now, this is me, the Ikechi that you are seeing now. This was when I was a little child at University of Nigeria. All these photos are taken from University of Nigeria, except the one that we are three in the aeroplane. These ones, I was a baby at University of Nigeria. I was the three people holding my hands are all of blessed memory. This was an Anglican bishop, Bishop Anyang, he's late, and Professor Ezocha was my godfather. He also died. He died in 1998. And my godmother, pharmacist Rose Ezocha, they are from Umuahia in Southeast. She died in 2015 in the US. And see me in my nursery school at also the University of Nigeria. And also I did my matriculation in 1998. That was, I didn't study agric extension, it's agric economics. So don't mind that I just stood there to take the picture. Anyway, that picture you see there is Kelechi, little Kelechi when he was warming up to enter university. And that is my Kelechi's mother, that's my eldest sister. She's also a professor of medical microbiology and medical lab science. And this is me, different photos, and I feature in the media all the time these days. And I also featured at the New Faces for Farming program at the Rachel University College here in United Kingdom. And I presented the strategy I developed recently, which I'm going to talk about. And also I work closely with Ambassador Davisha Johnson, who at the African Diaspora Collective, North and South America. So this is just the first aspect of it. Now, during the COVID year, I featured my first, exclusive interview during COVID, and it was a massive, beginning of great things to happen in my career. And also, yeah. Now you can see some pictures also of family of my beautiful wife, Antonia, and the Vice Chancellor of UPM, University Putra Malaysia, Professor Aini Deri. She was the Deputy Vice Chancellor then, and I refer to her as the most educated Islamic woman in the world, or one of educated Islamic women. Yeah, you can see my family also, parents, sister. Blessing is also my niece, and my trip to India. So you can see how I was in India before I came down. So this was when we went to Hartpury University here in Gloucester area. It's an agricultural university. And this is one of the proposals I have, I've made for the UK to rebrand farming, to rebrand agriculture. Can this work in other countries? And of course, I work a lot with young professionals and youngsters, and on how to begin to re-engineer their mindset. And that took me to brain re-engineering concept and reimagination, which, the Holy Spirit, gave to me. And of course, it was in the midst of my wife and me when this strategy dropped in. So that's why I put her there, myself and her. And this is, of course, I featured in DW, German foremost television. I featured at TVC, and that's my president of Nigeria, his television station. I featured twice in 1 week. They want to keep having me to speak to them. And I featured in African French TV down there. And I featured also in different radio stations at times. And also even the Voice of Nigeria too, in Aso Rock. Now, at the Global Emerging Leader Award, I was honored twice. As Global Emerging Leader, we were 17 in number. And after that, we were thinned down to be given the Global Mentor of Change. So we have around 6 or 7 from the number. Now, yeah, so these are some of the conferences I've also attended, when I did my postdoc in South Africa. It's all about miracle. I wouldn't want to go too deep into how I defended my PhD, but it's all about grace. Now, these are my parents. For some of you who have never seen my parents, my dad used to be very fair, but you can see him, he's quite old, about 100. As you are seeing my mother holding him, he was actually holding somebody who was about 90-something years that time as her husband. You can see, isn't it grace at work? It's grace that I saw him and he was alive when I defended my PhD, and he blessed me a lot. And he was in Dublin, in the early 60s. He finished in 1964. You can see his picture there. I would have, made it very big, zoomed it. So you will see him in 1964 when he graduated from the university, because he trained himself. He read history, economics, and geography, while I read agricultural economics. And my mother studied religion, and she delved into public administration, and would have even continued to her PhD before she retired in 1996. And that's my eldest sister, who has, made us proud in our family. She's the first professor in my father's, in not just my father's house, in the entire extended family, and even in her husband's family, where she's married. She's also married to a very noble man who is also a professor. Yeah, so on my way to Singapore from Malaysia, I was in Malaysia and I was traveling to Singapore, and I never knew the history of Nigeria, of Malaysia's agriculture sector. I never knew it was that it has always been traced to Africa, how they came and borrowed our oil palm, seedlings, and borrowed some other agriculture resources. They went back and they took agriculture seriously. And their economy has prospered so much through the agriculture sector. And their neighboring countries like Indonesia, Philippines, and other countries that borders on Malaysia have always been prospering. Now, this is one of my quotes. I found it. I never planned this. I just saw it online. So I noticed that they are quoting me these days. I never knew when I became a strong force in the agriculture space. It's all about grace. I'm telling you this. I don't even have money to bribe. But I come out, I wake up in the morning and I put my name on Google and I see things that I've been, doing. And I remember I said that it's time for the government to take proactive actions in fighting hunger by enforcing policies of the World Food Programme, by also advocating to end traces of hunger in the 6 geopolitical zones of my beautiful nation, Nigeria. The regional blocs must work together. I had always advocated that state governments can partner to build formidable food and agricultural hubs. Building agripreneurship factory. Dr. Beatrice Bishop is my partner, a German lady. Unfortunately, I didn't feature her here, and I didn't also remember to put her picture here because she developed a pet foreign policy ecosystem, which I injected the agriculture aspect in. And PETS is an acronym that stands for Policy, Economy, Technology, and Society. Now, also the EU Tech Chamber, my connection to EU Tech Chamber, or Dr. Beatrice Bishop, who's is connected to me through, we became friends. So I told her about EU Tech. I said, oh wow, it's in my country and it's very close to where I live in Munich. And we registered together, and she paid she's been paying all my fees at the EU Tech Chamber. EU Tech Chamber is not a small chamber. Lord Charles is also an advocate and a board member of the European Technology Chamber. So this is one of the quotes that I also woke up to see, where I said that the government possesses significant power in its decision-making processes, the significance of which cannot be overstated. Policies came in to give directions, and it is widely acknowledged that the government's ability to propose and enforce strategies to promote renewable energy solutions, such as those related to grain processing, waste, and oil seeds, remains unparalleled. And I also saw this again, that we are working in a good number of universities to see how to encourage farmers to build their capacity in the knowledge of technology and agriculture. And of course, robotics is one of them. That's technology and agriculture. I had always proposed that because that is one of the strategies to rebrand agriculture for young people, to make agriculture sexy for them so that they will become easily appealed to it. They love smart agriculture. They love precision farming. And of course, this also makes me to say that I work a lot with universities across Africa and outside. Now, I've always advocated for putting farmers first in policies, because how many of us have not eaten for the last 3 days at least, or 7 days? We are always, yearning for food. So food is just one of the aspects of agriculture, one of the products from agriculture. Now, I also woke up in the morning one day to see this, that I said that sometimes we tend to bring in new technology, very new technology. We need to understand where the farmers are. We need to understand where the rural people, every intervention that must affect farmers must first of all affect the rural area, because farmers are majorly operating in rural area, especially production, before we talk about processing, and then before distribution, and then consumption. Then we need to understand what the farmers are dealing with. We need to understand the local issues. I've featured quite prominently in some of the national delegations, which we did recently between UK, Nigeria Trade and Investment Mission. It was a UK Africa initiative, and I was the agro-economist in the midst, and we visited the mayor of Birmingham, and I was also appreciated that very day. That's the mayoress of Birmingham. And this is my recent endorsement by the African Diaspora Collective, North and South America. And also my recent pictures with my PhD regalia 10 years ago. So these are all doubling up to what is coming out. So, and so can I thank you for listening and invite Reverend Eliakim. Reverend Eliakim is Reverend Eliakim is our spiritual father here, and he is a very lively minister. He's very brilliant, intelligent. He's not just a minister, he is also a brother. And he has a very beautiful family. His wife is a medical doctor. His wife is also a retired associate professor in medical sciences. So, and he has beautiful children who are grown-ups and doing very well. And I think having him here will be a blessing, not just to me, but to people who are here. Can you listen to him, and can he also unravel what he wants to unravel here as he is led, so that we all can be blessed? Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone, and well, depending on which part of the world you are. So for us here, it is evening. I am not here to speak, to be honest. I joined to celebrate the great things that God has done, or he is still doing, through his servant, Dr. Ikechi Aboba. And it just occurred to me, one or two scriptural passages. One of them says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. And that is from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29. And this scripture comes handy while we appreciate what God is doing through our brother, Dr. Ikechi. And when I looked at that scripture, it says he will not serve before officials of low rank. That is in no way trying to despise anyone, but trying to explain that when you put your heart to your work, it is God and the grace that Dr. Ikechi talked about that sets you strategically to people of high degree that you can be of service to. And that is what we are experiencing today. Anyone here tonight, or those who will be listening to our voices later on, or, at one point or the other, are such people whom God has also placed strategically in their high places. And we are enjoying the fruit of diligence that this young man, Dr. Ikechi, has proven to have. And so that also takes me to another scripture that says that in a large house, the Bible says in a large house, there are many articles, some of gold and some of silver. But if one prepares themselves, they can become a vessel specially designed to serve special purposes. So that is in confirmation to what God is doing through our brother, Dr. Ikechi. God has led him through his studies and experiences in life. And now the home country, Nigeria, and other countries of the world can listen to him, to whatever advice he has in the area of his service. Now that shows that whatever we do, whatever your field, put your heart to it and keep working. One day, somebody of note will listen to you and people will be encouraged with whatever you have. That's all I have to say. And I want to say, God bless each and every one of us and help us to continue with whatever he has called us to do, because surely he knows how to reward diligence. Amen. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. It's good evening where I am. I'm privileged and I'm excited to be in this meeting. And if I could, walk back memory lane to how all of this started and how my great uncle here, completed his PhD program and all the Lord has done with him over the years. It's truly exciting, and it's also inspirational for those of us who are still coming behind him. Because of course we do not have much of time on our side. I'm just very excited to be celebrating with him, and I'm sure that this is just the beginning, definitely, of all he's going to achieve. Right from when I knew him, he's been a strong pillar in our family. He's always been there for us. He's been more than a mentor to each and every one of us. He's been dedicated to his work. I lack the words, to describe him, and I can only if I were to see the future and project ahead, it's glorious. I just want to encourage him to keep up with the good work, and just like our Reverend has just reminded us, if you see a man diligent in his work, he will definitely stand before kings. So congratulations, Uncle Ike. We are super proud of you. Every other person might know you from afar, but we who know you right from home, we know what we are saying when we say super proud of you. Congratulations, well done. Keep up the good work, continue rising, and we will still gather again to celebrate you on a much bigger space, and even on a more bigger platform. Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to be amongst these great men and women here. Thank you very much.
It's my turn. I really enjoyed your pictures, Ikechi. It's really nice also see the story behind the man and to see what you achieved so far. I read loads of your papers. It's so interesting. And I really, really wish you all the best. And we support you as much as thinking of you and hoping that your audience grows from day to day, because it's so important what we feel and see in this world, what we all connected together, and that especially Africa and future gonna be more our home country, and to look what's there, what we can achieve, especially with changes in the climate. And it's so important. Your work is so important, and I hope you never forget that. And also there might be some rainy days, and especially where you are now, but where you always think of the goal of the achievement for all of us. And that's so, I think that's the grace that you prescribe. It's a grace for people to whatever you achieve in life, you try, and we all try to help you, to support you to achieve this, to find a solution how we can maintain in future, how we can feed the nations and the people around us. So I want to thank you. And of course, we're celebrating you. And I'm really, really looking forward to hear from all your other friends, the wishes and the views on your future work. Thank you very much.
I'm going to refer to the Reverend, and I'm going to apply science. You know, we're talking about using, that's what you're doing now, Ikechi. So applying science and tech to agriculture. Yeah. I remember we used to haggle back in the days, talk about applying what you're doing about now. What I want to say is simple. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Yes. So in this concept, I'm looking at, we're born with everything we need from birth. What we need to do is apply what we're given. And apes have no concept of time and space. There's a simple equation, E equals MC squared. It means the apes don't go hungry in the forest. Warum? Warum means why in Dutch, and there's a good reason for that. God gives you what you need. It is man that takes too much without applying what he was given at birth. So I don't mean anything against religion. When people go and stay in church every day praying for gift, I'm like, what are you doing? You need to go to God's church. That's where you need to bring all the harvest. Not come and ask for harvest in church. I mean, I hope I'm making sense. I mean, if I'm not. And I also invited someone over. I didn't, I don't know if he's still around. I would like to give him some time and space if he has a little bit to contribute, because I was in another conversation. Okay. I was in another conversation, and we're actually brainstorming about something similar. We're talking about leadership and the problems affecting the our side of the world. I don't want to use those acronyms like third world country, all of that stuff. No, we're talking about how do we apply ourselves, because our generation is becoming the new leaders, so forth in Africa. My father, I saw your father, man. That was really, really nice. Yeah, your history is really, really inspiring. And that's what we need to, more and more in terms of leadership in Africa. This is what we need to expunge. This mentality of ask, go and sit down and wait, or blame the other. You're an example, exemplary example. And I've been dancing, forth and back, just listening to you talk. So if Solomon Aleto is there, I don't know if he's there. Give me a second, because I saw him, I told him to just jump in. He was listening, but okay, he's not available at the moment. Now with agriculture, yes, it's time we apply science, and one of the reasons I'm still in the West is, this is where you have, you're closer to innovation, in medicine, AI. You're talking of chat GTP, and then you're talking about robotics. You're talking about using AI now, using microbots to pollinate. Talking about greenhouse technology. We're talking about aquaculture. And all the other methods we can apply depending on your location and resources available. So I'm very honored to be part of this conversation that promotes Africa and then promotes my brother.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Horatius Jackie Williams. I'm President and Chancellor of Kampala International University. Kampala International University is an American university specializing in different provision of different degrees, from bachelor's degree, master's degree, to PhD. The university is completely an online university. There we create different innovation in terms of making online university accessible, easy, and practical, with expressive way of understanding, a new dimension of learning that helps students learn what the subject matter of what they have come to our university for. And one of the programs we have is agribusiness management and agribusiness management, agribusiness policy and management. And the key person to that program is Dr. Ikechi. Dr. Ikechi is one of our professors. Actually, he is the director of the African program. I'd like to say a few things about Dr. Ikechi. He is very dedicated to Africa, the cause of agricultural program in Africa. Honestly, I have an African background, Liberian American, but Dr. Ikechi has shown me I've never seen another African with such passion when it comes to agricultural matter. He has complete dedication to help develop the agricultural program in Africa. With his help and Dr. Beatrice, who was a board member of the university, we developed what we call the PET system. The PET system is something like policy, economic, technology, society. It's designed to create entrepreneurial system with respect to agricultural business, developing, training new people in the agricultural industry, mostly African, and helping them to be entrepreneurial. Developing that philosophy across Africa. We try to do one day at a time, one step at a time. And Dr. Ikechi has been in the forefront of all of what we do. Whether it's our graduate PhD program, he mentored our students, he's an advisor, and he's the director of the program, and also he's the director of the African program. We are very proud of Dr. Ikechi's activities. I'm very happy to have him at our university. He's a very dedicated man when it comes to African needs, in terms of agricultural business or agricultural issue. Therefore, I like to tell him thank you so much for everything. With everybody honoring him, I'd like to profoundly say I do appreciate his work and his dedication. Thank you so much, Dr. Ikechi, and I wish you all the best. CIU is definitely blessed to have you.
Hello, everyone. I am Captain J.M. Mukechku, and I just have a few words to put out on this great personality, Dr. Ikechi. He's a light which the darkness can never overcome. Over the years, he has proven to be not just an educationist, but a great philanthropist in his field. His works are such amazing, and his selfless spirit is second to none. Dr. Ikechi is not just a random person that I met on the course of my advancement in my career, but also my brother-in-law, who has shown great leadership quality as well. I wish you all the best, my professor, as I fondly call you, and assure you of my continuous support in areas of security. Not one thing, a decade is just a number, but your achievements in education and the agricultural sector will last forever. Once more, congratulations.
Namaste.